Hey guys, just getting set up here, so just give me a minute. First live. Okay, I think you guys can see me. Hey, welcome to Tower Gardening Made Easy, and I'm Sherry. This is our very first live. Like I said, there were some really fun things coming to the channel, and this is one of them. So give me a little bit of like being easy on me because I've never done this before. I usually do the typical, do some recordings, make some videos, and then I go and I edit. So this is actually just live raw footage. And I want to go through my morning with you because this is what having 8 towers does. It is a little bit of work. I'm not going to lie to you. Um, but I enjoy it. It really gives me peace, and I feel like it brings down my blood pressure, not that it's high, and I really, really enjoy it. So I hope you get something out of this. And if you have questions, tap them below. Happy to answer. Obviously, you can watch this later if you missed the actual live portion of it. It's going to be on in the live section in my profile. You can also go to the websites if you're looking for specific things. There's a whole header there on the left-hand side of the website that leads you to nursery supplies, the towers between the flex and the home. It also gives you options of mushroom farming if you're into that, like where to go and get the Martha tent or the fruiting blocks, or whatever you need. But I'm going to just go through my morning and just chat with you as we go, and point out some things that are going on in the room, and some really good things and some, loss I could. But for the most part, I would say 99% is really fantastic here, and I'm really enjoying the process. So why don't we get started? I'm going to swivel to the first thing, which is, I've kind of done some preliminary cleaning before I turned on the camera because, I've said this in my videos before, I'm very type A, and there's a lot of shedding that goes on between the cucumber tower and the pepper tower. I've got a great little story about the pepper tower when we get there. But yeah, let's go have some fun. All right, so I'm going to spin this to the cucumber tower first. And yeah, she's gorgeous right there. And we got 2 people watching. That's awesome. Yay. All right. So I have a lot of holes here. And when I planted this, I didn't realize, I think I mixed the seeds. I did some really long, which I think are the European cucumbers. And then over here, and the leaves look identical. This is just your basic, grocery store variety cucumber, and they grow really fast and they're super, super sweet. That's what I've learned. These guys taste pretty good, but they just take a lot longer to grow. So I think what I want to do today is we're going to probably clean up some of this, and we're going to go ahead and plant some more of these guys because they go really fast, and I love them, and they're so healthy for you. They're filled with water and lots of fiber, and they're just super yummy, and that you should definitely have them in their diet. And if you haven't watched my video about how I started, that's how this whole thing started. I moved out of the Metro West of Massachusetts down to Rhode Island, and around Thanksgiving, I went to 3 different grocery stores, 3, and none of them had cucumbers. And I finally, at a specialty grocery store, had stopped one of the clerks and said, "Dude, what's up? No cucumbers." And he said to me, "You're on an island, and shipments are very scarce." And I just looked at him and said, "A cucumber is a staple food. Like, it's staple. It should be everywhere." And I simply learned living down here that that was not the norm, and that you really, really had to be super careful about what you buy and when you buy it, and look at expiration dates. I mean, to the point of like your creamer or even hummus. I love where I live. There's no questions about it. And I've got some really great things coming up in the spring. Um, about where I live and the things that I do here outside of here. And also I'm going to be doing some stuff actually in my backyard, but we've got a big project going there too. So I won't ruin that surprise. That's going to be an undertaking. But yeah, so that's where this whole thing originated. And then I bought 2 towers and I got going and I really, really loved it. And then all of a sudden, I decided yeah, I want to do this, and I'm going to put this on YouTube, and I'm going to show people that you can do this. So I'm going to try to read the comments as we go, but it's difficult. I'm doing this on my phone, so and it's my first time. Thank you, John. Beautiful plants. Am I pregnant? No, no, no. I am actually let's see, too old for that. But thank you. So yeah, okay. Here we go. So why don't we spin this over to the cucumber? And as you can see, there's lots and lots of blooms. So people have talked about on the towers that you need to self-pollinate, and you do to some extent. You do. You need to take a little bit of a art brush and a little tiny thing, and you can find the male flowers, which are kind of like right here. And then you go ahead, John, and you need to pregnate the ones that do need to be pollinated. So you can go ahead and do that. But the other thing that I've learned, and if you've watched the video called upskirting, you take your fan and you bring it on over, and I'm going to do that right now. So as you can see, there's a billion blooms on this tower. So I could spend hours on this tower, but a simple fan like this pointed up in the direction of the blooms with just a gentle flowing of the air, believe it or not, does the trick. Um, I haven't really pollinated this tower in weeks. I just put the fan on the front and the backside, maybe 20 minutes rotating it, and it does the trick. And my cucumbers, as you can see, they grow, and they grow beautifully. So, and then you can see on the top, there's lots of celery, and this celery, when I do buy it in the grocery store, I literally chop off what I need, and then I take that stalk. I don't even put it in a rock wall. I literally just stuff it into one of these nut pots up there, and it grows. So, and it will start to sprout these little leaves, and then you'll get these stalks up here. And then when I want to add it to soups or stews or salads or just munch on it because I'm hungry, I can I can totally do that. Um, so yeah, I got lots, and it goes all the way around, and it's super cool. Somebody had asked in a forum, where should they plant it? And I said at the very top, because it does get very tall and very leggy. So yeah, that's where you should definitely plant that. So why don't we go over into the new tower? This is the newest of towers, and angle you guys down. Here we go. And this is all zucchini. And this top part right here is some arugula that I planted. And then right here, there's just a few extra. And as these mature, I've got a few down here that I may stick them down later on. But yeah, so all zucchini. All of my towers are they're designated to one vegetable. And I found that if you only have a couple towers and you want to go ahead and mix and put a variety of things on there, then go ahead and do that. But I just found where the volume that I'm doing, I don't want to do that because I just feel like if it's all beans, it should be all beans. All summer squash, then I've got plenty of male and female flowers to go ahead, John, and impregnate. And um, um, so that I can grow the vegetables and that I can stay out of the grocery store. So I don't know if you guys are tuning into the news at all, but I definitely want to share this. And it's getting a little scary, especially where I live because food's very expensive. Tariffs. I'm not going to talk politics here because I just want to stay neutral. I don't know where people's boundaries are, but I will say this, that vegetables are healthy, and healthy food is very, very expensive. Um, and one of the reasons I did this was so that I could cut down on cost. And we've been warned through the news with these tariffs that we're going to be paying a lot more before it gets better. And that's a little scary. So I'm really glad that I started this process, not only to bring food for my family, but to have security too, because I think where we're headed over the next few months into this all irons out with this tariff thing, you really need to secure what's going on. Um, and you need, some fresh produce because it's not only healthy for you and your family, but it is a lifeline. It gives you lots of minerals. It gives you lots of vitamins, and you need that. You can't just get that in a capsule. So I'm actually going to be starting something really interesting through the videos, and it's going to be called Let's Talk About It. And one of the things we're going to talk about is someone who approached me through a forum, and I'm not going to spoil it, but she did a little research on me and found out that I was I'm a retired pro IFBB bodybuilder, and she was trying to convince me to get my minerals and my vitamins through a capsule. And I typed back very nicely and I said, I'm kind of good. I really just like to eat my food versus take it in a pill, because all of that stuff that you buy as capsules, they're not regulated, and you don't know what's in it. Even like protein powder, you're better off eating real protein, because in the protein powder, it's a third party, and the government and the FDA do not regulate that stuff. Anthony, how is the seeds you started on this lush you picked doing? They're great. We planted them. There was a video that I did called 10 seeds. What was it? 10 seeds, 2 weeks time to plant. I literally just posted that. So if you haven't seen that, Anthony, go take a peek at it. They're awesome. We're going to get to that in a little bit. But squash is relatively easy to grow, but dissecting my husband's dinner, I wasn't sure. But listen, hey, if it's free food, I'm in. Count me in. And I know that on the big seed plants like cucumbers and squash and zucchini, you can, in peppers too. If you open up a bell pepper, there's a kabillion seeds. All you just need to do is rinse them off and put them inside of a, paper towel, because they're so small, and, germinate them that way. And so once they sprout, you can go ahead and put them right into the rock wall, and, they'll take right off. So those are super, super easy to plant. So yeah, definitely do that. I actually did that early on, I think, in a video. I can't remember which one, but it may have been like put your wallet away. That may have been the video. So go check that one out too. But yeah, you definitely can. Things like strawberries, those seeds, if you're watching me and watching the strawberry videos, those are going to be the death of me. But we'll get there in a minute too, because they're taking off. They're like unbelievable. I actually have strawberries. They're not big strawberries. They're not like bright red strawberries, but they'll get there eventually. Yeah, they're super. It's amazing what has happened, and literally that grew from a size of like it was like a beach sand kernel, like on the tip of your finger that you'd flick off at the beach. That's how small those seeds were. So yeah, like they were, that was really hard. And I started them at the end of November, and I didn't get them into their own tower until maybe January. But now with the right conditions, with the pH and the nutrients, um, they're uh, they're taken off. So we'll get over there. But let's go ahead, and as you can see, this is doing really, really well. They're very, very happy. We planted them we 2 week ago, 2 weeks ago now. I can actually see some buds here that are flowers and more leaves. But as you can see, look at how mammoth these leaves get. They're huge. They're absolutely huge. And then the lettuce is coming in too. So let's go ahead. Let's move on. All right. So if you guys are watching, my little surprise, let me just adjust this here. This is the tower that has the bok choy. I'm going to be honest, I've never cooked bok choy, but I love Chinese food, so I'm going to learn, because in Newport, we don't have any good Chinese restaurants. It's all up in the Boston area. And once you've had that, you've had the original good stuff, to go back to an area. And occasionally when I am up there, I go to my favorite restaurants, and hey, how are you? And bring some take home down to Newport. I asked the owner, I'm like, why can't we get good Chinese food in Newport? And his explanation was because there isn't a Chinese like village or area in around Newport. It's probably the closest one would be either New York or Providence, and so therefore they don't have the supplies that they need to cook. So that kind of made me sad, because I really love like chicken and broccoli and dishes like that. So I'm gonna have to learn to make it myself, because there's no good Chinese here. A lot of the restaurants are good, but in the off season, you really need to be a good cook. I can't pronounce your name. Guave? Sorry, I'm so sorry. But hi, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. All right, so let's check this out. So this is the watermelon tower. And there we go. All right, so bok choy in the front, and then we've got some of the watermelon growing right here. Okay, it's coming in. Now, I've had a little bit of an issue with this. I'm trying to stand in here with algae. Algae. So these are tall, very frail. So what I've had to do is take some of the rock wall. I've got some covers coming from Amazon to kind of block out the algae. It doesn't hurt, but it's going to stunt your growth. Literally, it's going to block the uptick of nutrients, and it's not going to grow. And that's what happened for the first like 2 weeks of this guy. So I literally took little pieces. I don't know if you guys last year, and I had to surround it on the top of the existing rock wall where the root system is. And what I do is I continue to flip it over every day if I start to see algae growing and deprive it of the light. And once you do that, it won't grow, but it will grow back. It'll come back. So you just keep turning it until I get the covers. But since I've been doing that over the past couple of weeks, you can see there's lots of growth. Okay, it's starting to come out. It's starting to touch the if you haven't seen that video where I built this from, Michael's craft store, for $27, go check that out because it's hanging in there with some clips and some metal and some dowel. But they're all getting nice and big and nice and healthy. And I saw a video the other day that once I do have fruit, I have an idea on how to keep it secure. I mean, the melons aren't going to get 5 pounds. They're probably going to be, I don't know, maybe that round. But I found a way where I can put it into a netting and then take the twist and then secure it onto here. Or I might be able to do another layer here and secure it there so that it takes that pressure and that weight off of the stem. But clearly we're not there yet. So yeah, so there we are. So there's the watermelon tower. I'm really, really excited. See if I can get it a little bit closer for you guys. You can see. There's my favorite right there. All right, let's move on. So I planted this tower. This is all beans, all those bush beans, and it's really large. I have an issue, I'm not going to lie. I don't think it's pH, I think it's the nutrients. So what I'm going to do, instead of adding more and playing chemist, I'm letting the water in the basin drain out, or basically just absorb into here, and then I'm going to refill it and then restock it with the minerals. If I start adding more A, more B, it could make the problem worse. But as you can see on the leaves, I've got some spotting. I do have beans, I do have flowers, but I just have some yellowing. And I don't think it's a lighting issue because when I get the lights closer, it burns the leaves. So I just try to flick it out a little bit. And I mean, it's nice and full. I mean, there's lots of leaves and there are lots of beans. But I don't understand what's going on with here. And so people will probably come back and say, check your nutrients. And I know that. But again, I don't want to continue to place more stuff in the basin and make the problem worse. So the basin's probably about half full. So I'm going to probably wait another week and then I'll top it right to the top, put exactly what it needs for nutrients, and then see what happens. I'll pick off some of this stuff and then we'll go from there. But yeah, no, I'm really excited. I do have lots of beans in here, and I actually have new growth. So from that perspective, I'm really excited. So, all right, that's the bean tower. She's lovely. Let's move on. All right, summer squash. I've spent a lot of time on the summer squash tower. If you watched removing the mammoth summer squash, that thing wrapped around and it was just absolutely crazy how much it blocked the canopy blocked what was growing. Like this plant right here was up in the baby green section and it looked like it was dying. So once I cut that back and moved it into its own net pot, it actually started to throw off some male and female flowers. And you can see I have a pollinated summer squash here. The other great thing with this is after cutting that back, I think this may have been underneath where it was. This whole stem, as strange as this was, it threw off like all of these baby summer squash, some with flowers and some, yeah, I mean, it's starting to flower, but they're so teeny tiny that some are going to make it and some aren't, but they're literally I mean, there had to have been like 15 to 20. I've never experienced that, even in the soil gardens that I've had. Never, ever, ever. So, but I'm really happy because that means that pH is correct, the nutrients are correct in this tower, and it's throwing me a lot and lot of food. So very happy with that. I've got just so much food in here. Even down here, this right here, this side, bring in just a little bit, like right in here. This is just, so the canopy is getting to where that mammoth was. So I'm going to have to cut some of that back. And, you know, because there's so much, see, this is what happens. You've got some yellowing because it's not getting the light. And that is not a good thing. And also too, if you don't have enough light, that means that you don't have enough airflow. And without that airflow, you're going to get rot and you're going to get those edges that are a little bit brown. So we're going to get in here and do some of that as well. On the back side, it'd be hard to kind of show you this, but got a big zucchini. Now, I did mix a little bit of the zucchini and the summer squash towers. As I said before, I like to keep them separated, but the flower is kind of the same. I've actually used the zucchini flowers to pollinate some of the summer squash. And I pointed this out in a video the other day that the summer squash that's back over there, that was in the baby green section, is kind of tricolored. And the tip of it was green. So I thought maybe that was a lighting issue. But the more I think about it now, I may have used a zucchini flower to pollinate it. So who knows? Yeah, it's just lovely. This is one of my favorite towers. I'm not gonna lie, I just love it. I love summer squash. I love zucchini. It's another one of those big seed vegetables that are super healthy for you that you can do a lot with. Stir fry, you know, you can put them on the grill. They can go into stews and soups. They're just so healthy. You can probably freeze it too. I've never done that before, but if you put it into something, you can definitely do that. So I want to do a little more cooking too. That's another thing that's probably will be coming up relatively soon. I did one cooking with some mushrooms, and people seem to enjoy that. But I definitely want to go upstairs more and you know, make a few more dishes. So all right, so we're standing in front of my tomato tower, and she's lovely. She's huge. The one, I think, mistake that I made with this particular tower is that I mixed the baby, the dwarf. I think those are the little toms. And I put a halo, you'll see that in some of my videos, around the center. And those were the big reds. I don't think I would ever do that again. And they, they took off and they became too tall, too thick. And honestly, I've got a couple over here. I'm gonna actually spin this a little bit. They're still right here, but they're actually not that big. Let's see if I can get in just a little bit closer for you guys. You can see right there. That's one of those big reds. They're a little bit bigger than the dwarfs, and I just think for the space that they took up, I actually had to remove a lot of it. I don't think that I would do that again on the next round. But as you can see, the cherry tomatoes right here, you can see right behind me, this cluster is almost ready to be harvested. I'm going to give it probably another day or two, and I'm going to go ahead and pull them and use them. So we're really kind of coming about, and it goes all the way around. I mean, this thing sucks up a lot of water. I'm schlepping water in here like nonstop for this guy and the pepper tower. I mean, as your towers get bigger, it's a little more work. That's why I was just I'm just a girl with 8 towers. And it's a lot, but I really enjoy this. And my community, you guys out there have been unbelievable. You've just been so kind, and just really just watching the videos and asking some really nice questions. And if there's anything that you guys are looking for or need, you know, definitely troubleshoot with you. That's why I wanted to start the lives and, you know, help you out because, you know, 4 months ago, when I started this in November, I had my knowledge of soil gardening. And then here's a little caveat that most people don't know, and I haven't shared this up to yet. So um, when I was in the city back in 2009, living in Boston, I was a professional florist, and I also did to the big hotels, kind of like the Ritz and the Kipling groups, things like that. I had a really good business, and I did all of their big foyer arrangements, but I also did their container gardens outside. I did a big, round as you drive into a hotel, and that big, the big rounds where you dump off your car. I used to do all of that, and I loved it, but it's hard work. And at 57, I'm kind of done. But I did enjoy the florist part because I go into the Albany Street where all our flowers were, and you got to pick these beautiful flowers coming from all over the world. They're coming from Australia, they're coming from Europe, they're coming from South America. I mean, if you're in the South American region and you're watching me right now, I'll tell you, your roses are some of the best. Not only are they beautiful in color, they're beautiful in just the size of them. They're beautiful with their fragrance, the way that they open, like amazing. It must be something in your water, but dang, they are so beautiful. I've got some people, the people in Europe that grew, I think they're called English roses. They're huge, but I do miss that. So I do have a knowledge, excuse me, of gardening. So I took what I had from the outside and I brought it inside to the towers. And this is where we are now. So as you can see, we got a cluster here, and we've got some little shoots over here. I want to show you one thing. So I had someone comment in a video with the upskirting, and you just got to laugh. You have to self-pollinate some of this stuff. And the fan will work, but you also just need to give it a little shake. And you can take the here, but I'm telling you, the best tool that I have, other than my pH tester, is this damn toothbrush. It's disgusting. But I turn it on and I literally, there's tiny little flowers, and I just put it on the very top, and then you'll see this dust come falling down. And that took what, like a millisecond? And I just go around the tower, and the ones that are wide open, I just place it kind of in the middle of the cluster, once a day. I don't go crazy. I don't have to come back and do this because it's time consuming. But by doing that, I am pollinating the flower, which then gives me the fruit. So if you have a tower or even outside, and say you're in an area that doesn't have a lot of breeze, like on a hot summer day and there's no breeze, do yourself a favor, go buy one of these at your local drugstore and just pop it around, give your plant a little shake, and you're going to have tomatoes like those guys right there that came from a pollinated cluster. So I just go around and just, tap it. And that's why I've got clusters of tomatoes all over this tower. Um, they're everywhere. As we're here, I'm going to go ahead and just do that so I don't forget to do that. And they just pop up too. You'll see them bud, and then they will. You just hit the tops of them, and this little powder shoots out. It's kind of cool, actually. And you just, again, like once a day, that's all you got to do. Just, give them a little tap and tap. And I got some in here. And before you know it, there's like six flowers, 6 or 7 flowers to one little cluster, and then they're all pollinated. And then before you know it, you've got this huge cluster that's right there. That was a big flower cluster at one point. So I think I got those. Now, somebody mentioned, maybe I read it somewhere, I'm not really sure, about the dwarfed, I think it was someone's child, to be honest with you, that they didn't like the taste. I haven't tasted them yet, but if they do have maybe not a non-sweet taste or a little bitter, I think I'll cook them. I think I'll take them and make it's like a chicken dish where I just kind of cut them up, saute them, and throw some chicken, and then bake them, with some other herbs and things like that. So they won't go to waste. Don't throw them out. But there's certain tomatoes you use in a salad, and there's certain tomatoes you cook with. So don't know, so stand by on that one. So I'm just going to hit the rest of these while I'm standing right here because I don't want to forget. Tomatoes are something I absolutely love. Yeah, there's a lot in the back. The other thing that I'll mention about vegetables. So again, in the videos, it's very hard to communicate about nutrition. And I am a certified nutritionist. Um, and there are vegetables that are water-based, like cucumbers, zucchini, summer squash, things like that. They're very, very healthy. All vegetables are healthy. But there's a category of vegetables called nightshades. Tomatoes is one of them. Eggplants is another. There might be a radish or two. Anything that's like that red, purpley color. If you, let's just say you're an athlete or you've got an injury going on, or okay, we'll even go here. If you're a woman of a certain age and you're in menopause, there's a whole litany of symptoms. And one of them is like a chronic, almost like arthritis. Do yourself a favor and stay away from the nightshades or limit them. And the reason why I say that is because it's going to cause inflammation in your body. And when you wake up in the morning and you get out of bed going, why does my hands hurt? Why does my knee hurt? What did I do? You didn't do anything. It's just those nightshades of vegetables causing inflammation in your body. And the other thing too is limit your dairy. Dairy can also do a number on inflammation. So, do your research. Go to Dr. Google. You'll see if anyone knows about Tom Brady, our ex-quarterback here in New England, he was on a diet of low inflammation foods. He was kind of like doing a keto. I don't really believe in that, but that's what he did. And he always looked a certain way. And he always, stuck to a diet that didn't have a lot of foods that caused inflammation. Like he was eating avocado ice cream. Now, avocados are great food, but there's pros and cons. If you have to lose weight, it's considered a fat. And someone would say, oh, it's a good fat. Well, yeah, but if you're trying to drop a few pounds, you might want to skip that on your salad. Or you might want to skip some, guacamole for a little bit. Then you kind of ease that back into your diet. So do your research on your vegetables. And what I am saying is don't give up your tomatoes, but just if you're having flashes of pain, or joint pain, maybe you've got a lower back or a sciatic nerve, I don't know, there's a whole litany of list of things that cause chronic pain. So my point is just to cut back and then just do your own evaluation, like get off of them for like a week and see how you feel, and then ease some of them back in slowly. The other thing too that I will tell you that again, with the videos, it's really hard to do that. So I'm really psyched to do lives. I tell a lot of my clients, because I still have some nutrition clients, seeds. Everyone thinks that seeds are really good for you, like chia seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. I'm going to tell you, don't eat them. And here's why. Your body cannot digest them. Even if you crunch them in your mouth forever and emulsify them to the best of your ability, there's still going to be shards that go into your tummy. And your stomach is your second brain. And it pierces the lining of your stomach as it goes through your digestive tract. And when it does that, there's going to be small leakage going through your body, which then that also causes inflammation. So if you can at all, skip your seeds. Eat your foods, eat your whole foods. Doesn't need to come in a capsule other than maybe a multivitamin. Drink lots and lots of water. And the other thing that people don't realize is that your electrolytes. You need electrolytes. How do you get them? Well, mineral salt. So if you have table salt, toss that puppy out. Not good for you. But your mineral salts, your sea salts, your Celtic salts, there are even companies on Amazon that you can buy the mineral salts in different flavors, even black or coming from the Celtic Sea. They're so good for you. Put them on every meal. And it's not going to cause high blood pressure. It's not going to cause any of that because your body self-regulates. And when you drink your water, your body says, I don't need the sodium, and it will literally flush it out. So don't be afraid to use mineral salts. Your other electrolytes, like your potassium and your magnesium. If you're feeling a headache coming on, It's an indicator that you're dehydrated. So a little salt, mineral salt, and water on your next meal, and you're going to feel fantastic. I have helped so many of my clients who have chronic headaches that are on prescription medications get off of the medication and just eat really wholesome foods following that practice, and they've been able to give up their prescriptions, and it does work. And sleep too. Sleep. People underestimate sleep, and you got to go to bed. You got to go to bed at a halfway decent hour. You got to get that 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, especially the deep sleep. And if you track it on your watch, or maybe you've got one of those Aura rings, check it. These towers are wonderful, but they're just 1% of your whole health. And getting your rest, getting some fitness in, getting a multivitamin, and then also, guys, go to the doctor, get a physical, get your mammograms if you're girls, prostate exams if you're a guy, your colonoscopies, all of that good stuff, and make sure that I call it the 50,000-mile checkup. Make sure that you're good to go. Make sure you got the tires and they're rotated and you're good to go. You know what I mean? Go and do that stuff. It's so important, and do it for your family, so that you can be around. That's why we're doing this. That's why I'm doing these towers. It's nutrition that's going into my body that's going to fuel me and keep me healthy. I can't wait to share with you guys very, very soon about one of my favorite things to do outside. I have a bike, and I tow my dog. I'm sure you've heard Libby in the back, in in this little thing on the back of my bike, and we go around Newport, especially Ocean Drive, which is just that's my medicine, to go watch those waves. It's therapeutic. It's just magical, and that's why I moved here. So I can't wait to share that with you. So, all right, let's get back to the towers. On a rant. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's the pepper tower. Does she look a little different? All right, so the other day, I looked at this dang thing and said, she needs a haircut, because she was just full of beautiful, big, luscious leaves. And there's tons of peppers in here, but my peppers are supposed to be like my tomatoes. They're supposed to be red and orange, and all I have is green. And I think it's just they need more time to ripen. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on here. So I came in here like a professional hairstylist, and I got my scissors and I chop, 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 chop. I filled up a garbage can full of leaves, trying to expose as many of my peppers that are growing. Get you up close. See what you can see. I mean, they are just everywhere. We got one down here that's like really big. I don't want to pull it and pop it, but here's some more down there that are really big. And they go all the way around the tower. But when I say that I chopped this thing, I chopped it. Ooh, you guys are swiveling. So yeah, like I just got in there and got some of the leaves. I should probably take some more, but I don't want to stunt it. I definitely want to continue to have it grow, and don't want to take that effect. But I needed to get one, more light on the peppers, and two, their flow. So my little fan, I circulate it around this room. I mean, the summer squash doesn't really need it, but I mean a little bit. But mostly I try to get in the tomato, and I get in the pepper, and then obviously the cucumbers for the pollination. And I'll probably turn on the zucchini once they start to flower. They're not there yet. They're still in the baby stage. But she looks really lovely. She makes a mess, this pepper thing. Flowers everywhere. And the other cool thing, trusty tool, there are a lot of flowers. I'm not going to lie. So to stand here for 3 hours pollinating, I don't know. I can't do it. The fan will help. But maybe every day in the morning, I just kind of hit it. And it's the same thing. Hit the top of the flower, give it a little shake, and you will see this cloud of powder pour out of the flower. And it's honestly, it's just like the tomato that right there pollinates it. So in a short amount of time, you will see the pepper. You can actually see a little green dot in the middle start to grow. And again, I just want to say this. This is all in my basement. Okay, this is a finished basement with 2 windows that have steps that climb out. And the goal is to take some of the towers potentially this summer out into a patio, but we're doing a project in the backyard that should start relatively soon. and it's going to be a pool. I'm very excited about this. And it will have a little pool house. So I'm trying to convince my husband, a section where I can put a couple of the towers out there and do an experiment. I'm sure they're going to do really lovely because it's outdoors. But I really want to stay indoors for a lot of reasons. And one being that I don't have to worry about pests. I don't have to worry about rabbits eating my food, or those mealy bugs, or things. Squash bug, I think, is another one. I don't have to worry about any of that because I'm indoors. It's controlled. But the downside is that, yeah, I got to run around with a toothbrush, kind of doing some self-pollination. But I'm getting a ton of food, like seriously, tons of summer squash. Now that the tomatoes are coming in, and the peppers, they're there. They just need to be the right color. So we just need to get them there. But this little tool, again, just a little tap on the top, and you go around. And if you don't have time, don't worry about it, because you will get so many blooms that you will be overwhelmed. You will. And the other thing that I'm most proud of is my strawberry tower. Okay, she's my baby right here. If you watch my videos from the get up, you're going to see me struggle. And I mean struggle. Again, I just talked about the kernel, the seed being the size of a grain. And that's what it was. And literally in the nursery, which we'll head over there in a little bit, because I have some strawberries, they are really slow to grow. And I've seen some people in some groups, and where I'm going to talk about that in my forum called Let's Talk About It. I'm going to talk about how they buy them from these companies, and they buy their little shoots. I forget what they're called. So if anybody knows, go ahead and comment that below. I think they're called runners. And then they plant the runners in the rock wall, and then they put them into the tower. And then I notoriously hear people say, I have the fruit, but now the leaves are browning or they're dying. What's going on? I can't answer that, to be honest with you. I don't know, because I don't know the conditions as to where and how they grow them. But I know that I have a packet, and I'm gonna go get them and share that with you. It came from a place up in Western Mass, but I'm sure that there's other places. Now, I bought strawberry seeds on Amazon just to try a different variety, and it didn't work. So I'm going to get this up real close so you guys can see it. Okay. This is the packet that I use. I don't think it's on the website. Just want to make sure everybody can see that. And this is the back. So if you have to pause it and get it. It's called Botanical Interest is the company, and the strawberry is called Strawberry Red Yellow Wonder Blend. And these are the seeds that I started that are here now, and I have no problems, zero. I may find a yellow leaf or brown leaf occasionally, but the only thing that I have now is this beautiful tower full of strawberry plants, and it is full of flowers. So I could spend, and I do, because this is my favorite tower, an hour getting in here and just literally pollinating. That's how desperate I am, because I want to be able to be right here with you guys eating the first strawberry. Strawberries are really difficult to grow. And again, I'm just a hobbyist that turned my hobby into something really special. And if I can grow strawberries as a newbie, just saying. So yeah, I just get in here with my little brush and go side to side and make sure that it's pollinated. But I will say that at my age, that's why the comment below before, when they thought I was pregnant, you guys are so cute. That was adorable. Okay, so I literally just take my brush and just go side to side. And then how do you know it's pollinated? Let's see if I can't get up close. Here we go. Can you guys see that right there? So when it's pollinated, it's going to turn a little brown. I'm doing my best. And it will just kind of fold over. And then you'll see all of these white petals fall off. And they make a mess, but I don't care. because I want strawberries that bad. And so if you look really close in here, I mean, they're just everywhere. And so the other thing that will happen is this little center thing right there, that's the strawberry, and that's what's going to grow. And then this little petal is what you actually cut off your strawberry. I walked by this tower, I don't know, must have been a while ago, and it was just all green. And I was like, I'm never going to get flowers. It's just going to be this beautiful houseplant. And then all of a sudden, I walked by and I go, oh, it's a flower. It's a white flower. And I ran over there, and then I ran upstairs to my computer to go, all right, so now what do I do? What's the next step? And I found this girl, and if you watch the video that I posted about it finally happened, it's about me watching the video with you guys and how to do the self-pollination. And it literally, it's just a kid's brush that I bought at Walmart. And I need my glasses. And it's just, hers was a makeup brush. I know you can probably get that in that department, the makeup department. But I went and just got a set of paintbrushes in the kids section. And I literally just go around to the outer edges and I swoop the little thing. I don't know, there's like this little yellow thing, and I just move it to the center and I kind of squish it back and forth. And that seems to work. But there's so many, guys. Like, I literally can spend an hour on this tower every day. And I do, because I want strawberries and I don't care. So, love it. It's just, it's wonderful. That's all I can say. I mean, they're just, I come down here every day and do this. I could do this. I'm like obsessed. I'm obsessed with strawberries. And I swear, I promise you, the first one that's ripe, I'm going to be right here and go watch me eat it. Not to be mean, but to be like, I did it. Like, I grew a strawberry in my basement. And you can too. You can too. And how do you do that? You click below, you join my channel, and you follow me and ask me questions, because I'm here to help you. Because I really do think that even if you just have one tower on a balcony or in your kitchen, think about how cool that would be if you've got young kids that are in grade school. I've got a girlfriend up north that's doing it right now with her kids. It's like a science experiment. You get a couple packets of, seeds, maybe some lettuce, maybe, maybe a tomato or summer squash, something that's not too big. And you start with that. And then you could watch their little expressions on their faces going, wow, look at that, because it grows so fast. And then at dinner time, you go over and you pick it, you harvest it, and then you put it in their salad or whatever they're going to eat. And they did it. You did it together as a family. So I just think it's super cool. I was always into science as a kid. I loved earth science, especially. I liked rocks, believe it or not, and volcanoes. But yeah, so here's our strawberry. She's lovely. And then we started with the cucumber and the celery. So that concludes kind of the towers. And we're making some progress. So let's go over to the nursery. I just need a sip of coffee. So I'm sure you've seen this in my videos too. I'm addicted to coffee. Addicted. All right. All right. So here's the nursery, and I'm going to show you guys. So this is some lettuce that needs to get planted. I don't think we're going to have time today. And then these are more strawberries. These are the more important things I want to show you real quick. And if you've seen in any of my videos, I talk about these damn spider lights all the time. They are a godsend and a blessing, and you can find them in my website, in my description. They're not called spider lights, but they are, and they come in 4s, 6, and 8s. So they clip onto the bottom of your towers. If you need a little extra light, that a plant that's getting kind of shadowed, it works. But it also works really great with a nursery. And then this is the extra large warming mat. So I love this setup. But these guys are, they're pretty much ready to go in. They're nice and full. And we're going to go ahead and do that at some point. although they seems like they need a little water. They're a little dry. So we'll do that at a later date. And then we got to talk about the mushrooms. So yeah, we've got some mushroom stuff going on. So unfortunately, I need to wrap this up today. I have a Zoom call in about 10 minutes with a client. And I just want to thank you for being with me for my first live. I was so excited. We had a lot of really good response. And thank you for all the thumbs up in the comments. And we're going to bring some really great stuff to you in the coming weeks. And be sure to keep your eye on, it's not really a podcast. I'm not going to do a podcast, but I think it's more just, I'm going to slip this in there where we go, let's talk about it. And it's going to be little clippets and comments about what's happening in the tower garden world. And, you know, people second guessing themselves. I've got one person going, why are the leaves wilting? And I'm thinking to myself, your leaves look perfect. Don't do anything. It's kind of like my bean tower. If you overshoot it, then it might make it worse. But if I just let the water naturally evaporate through the system, and then I start fresh again, I think that problem will correct itself. So believe that you can do this. And thank you for being such an amazing audience. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And let's have some fun together. And thank you, Anthony. I really appreciate it. And you guys are awesome. So I will see you guys very, very soon. Take care.